everyone. Welcome to another Experiencing GhiaLogic. Hello, my beautiful, my wonderful, and my loyal listeners. Welcome to another episode of Experiencing GhiaLogic. I'm your lovely host, GhiaLogic, and this is episode 257. Today is it raining? Okay, it's raining. Today is episode 257. This episode is going to be focused on behind the ballots and the secrets of the new president-elect's win. So on November 5th, 2024, it was election day. I believe by 4 a.m., Donald Trump had hit the 270 mark for the electoral votes. And Donald Trump was elected president once again. He is now the 47th and he was the 45th president. So cool, right? Before I get into that, I want to talk about a few things. So these are just some quick facts, a little GhiaLogic to kind of lighten up the mood, because I know we've been talking about this all week and we're going to continue to talk about it probably up until the inauguration, right? So just something that you might not have known about our country and the history of our country's elections. So have you ever wondered why Americans vote on a random Tuesday and, not a more convenient time? Because of deference to 19th century farmers who once accounted for a majority of the workforce. In 1845, Congress passed a law that designated Election Day as the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, because a November Tuesday was considered the most favorable time for farmers to vote. The month wasn't a super busy time on the agricultural calendar. Weekends were a no-go because of church, and Wednesdays were market days. The 2024 presidential campaign was the most expensive election in history, and no one showed up more than, of course, Elon Musk, who formed his America PAC earlier this year and then publicly endorsed the good old party's contender after he was shot at a Pennsylvania rally in July of this year. Kamala Harris conceded to Donald Trump. The vice president's concession speech delivered yesterday afternoon at Howard University in Washington, D.C. hit both grateful and somber notes. She expressed optimism for the future, saying that the light of America's promise will always burn bright as long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting. The Democratic nominee obliquely referenced the challenges she faced, reminding listeners that she had just 107 days to make her case to the American people why they should vote for her, and that she thinks she succeeded in at least one area where President-elect Trump failed. As she conceded, she said a fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy and tyranny, and anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. Clock it. So by now, world leaders have reacted to the election as well. So messages of support for President-elect Donald Trump streamed in from across the globe on Wednesday. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer were among the first to congratulate Trump on winning a second term in the White House. A lot of people have been stating that Donald Trump winning this election has been history's greatest comeback. Okay, yeah. Also, I read that the spokesperson for President Vladimir Putin of Russia was not planning to call Trump and congratulating him, saying, "We are talking about an unfriendly country that is both directly and indirectly involved in the war against our state." However, the Russian news outlet Verska said that Putin congratulated the president-elect through mutual friends. Okay. President Biden also congratulated Trump and invited him to a meeting at the White House, which is usually what everyone has done in the past. The current sitting president invites the president-elect. They meet at the White House. It's just respectful, and it shows that you're a good sport. A lot of people were stating that Donald Trump has not made an official statement basically agreeing and affirming that he is going to be the 47th president-elect. There has been nothing on his Twitter, nothing on his social media platform, nothing. A lot of people find that weird and find that odd because he's usually so verbal and so outspoken. So the fact that it's been 48 hours with no official statement from Trump is a little bit, let's say, out of his character. Donald Trump winning, I knew it was going to happen. I did think that at the last rally he hosted at Madison Square Garden, with that comedian making those statements about black people carving watermelons with him on Halloween, and with him making the statement, the very derogatory statement regarding a piece of land that's floating garbage regarding Puerto Rico, I did not think that he would still have as big as a push and have as big as a landslide victory as he did. I believe he got 31 states, but I know where this country wants to go. I feel like I know the direction. I feel like I'm in the streets and I can hear the whispers and the undertones of a lot of people. And even California had a lot of counties voting red for the first time in a long time. So this country clearly is just trying to go back to, I think, conservative times, conservative measures. I do think that racism and prejudice is a pretty good and safe undertone to say that we have right now. It's very divisive in our country. Really, after President Barack Obama, these people just want to go back to just, you know, an older, safe Caucasian male running things. I just think that if we had a Caucasian male that was running for the Democrat slot, maybe it would have been closer. Maybe not a guaranteed win, but I don't think that our country at this present time was going to elect a woman that identifies as black, as Indian, went to Howard, is an AKA. I just think that's a bit much for our country at this time. And instead of attacking Donald Trump and saying things that we already know, if she would have highlighted a little bit better what she was going to do for the economy, maybe that would have been more helpful for her campaign. We already know Donald Trump is a goofball. We know he's a liar. We know he's untrustworthy. The majority of competent people that are college graduates and working in this country know that. But tell us exactly what you're going to do about inflation, and tell the people that don't know about NATO and that don't know about the history of the world, let them know why we are sending money to Ukraine. Let them know why we are sending money to our allies for their wars. A lot of people, they're confused on why we're sending so much money but we're not helping out at home. There are reasons that we are doing those things, and she should have definitely communicated and articulated those things a little bit better for the average Joe, as opposed to just campaigning and getting rappers and having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and all these things. It's like the same old song, but people need more. So where Donald Trump is running on not just policies, but he's running on the emotions of the people, you could have been more logical and use your background of being an attorney general and things like that, and just give us the facts. Break it all the way down, period. That's really what the people need. They want to know why we should vote for you. And if you're on social media during these last 107 days, you could see people were having these debates on college campuses or on the street. A lot of YouTubers, streamers, whatever, average Joes would just have these areas and tents where people could step up and say, you know, why should I vote for Kamala over Donald Trump? And a lot of people could not articulate these things clearly. I saw like one guy, one Caucasian male, he was young. He did a really good job on this one podcast because, yeah, like, let these people know what she's done and what she plans to do. And if she had him on her team, maybe we would be having a different conversation. The truth behind the ballot is these people in our country that I don't relate to them. I really don't. But they are the majority and they want change. They want different leadership. I guess they want the energy that Donald Trump brings. I really don't. I don't know how to say it in a way that makes sense, because it doesn't make sense, you guys. It really doesn't. All of the things that this man has done in the past and how people that have been on his team before, in his camp before, in the previous presidential term that he's had, they're separating themselves from him, you know, and you guys are out here still pushing for Trump. I guess they just want someone that is funny and divisive. I think the truth of the matter is they think he's going to do all these things, but I think that he's a con man. I think that he makes it okay for people in our country to be prejudiced, and it makes it okay for people in our country to blame other countries for the reason we are in this predicament. I don't think that Donald Trump puts a lot of accountability on our country's actions. Everything is not Mexico, Venezuela's, and Russia and Ukraine and Palestine and all of it. It's not their fault. But one thing Trump is going to do, and he's going to do it well, is run off of someone's emotions. He's going to manipulate you by making you feel a certain type of way. He's going to make you feel seen. He's going to make you feel heard. And then he's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. And there are going to be lasting repercussions. I don't think the world is just crashing to an end. I definitely am more relaxed this go round as opposed to in 2016. Because in 2016, I knew he was going to win, but I didn't really know he was going to win, you know? But this go round, nah. Donald Trump against a black woman? Oh no. America's not having that at all. They're not. We should have had a white male for the Democrats. And I'm saying we, because I usually vote Democrat. Sorry, but I'm black and I'm a woman. Like, I'm at the very bottom of the totem pole. Nothing that Republicans talk about has anything to do with me. And I'm okay with how immigration is, actually. I know that there are a lot of undocumented people coming in, but for some people it still is hard to even get and reach citizenship, and it's a lot of money. So for the people that are coming in, I feel like they're working hard. I feel like they're doing the jobs that we don't want to do. I feel like a lot of farms and agriculture and things like that would not be around if it weren't for these undocumented migrants. Houses that are being built, these folks for sure are trying to get married and get citizenship, bro. I see it all the time. And they aren't citizens, but they are building houses, making fences. They know how to do everything. I've just never met a Latino, a Hispanic that doesn't have 8 to 10 skills. So why am I hating on that when they're more skilled than me? I might be more educated, but they're definitely more skilled and can benefit society better than me. Period, point blank. So I'm not trying to push them out. Like, I want to work the jobs that they might not be qualified for. So I'm not even seeing them as competition. That's why I'm not pressed off of what an undocumented migrant. At this point in time, it doesn't affect me. Sorry. Maybe when I'm richer in a different tax bracket, I'll have a different say so. But as of today in 2024, someone coming here from El Salvador or Venezuela, what's the difference from people coming from Europe in the 1800s seeking refuge? People are seeking asylum. our country is what it is at this point. So we'll see. We'll see who the Republicans and Democrats push forward for the next election. But I don't even know. I guess Gavin Newsom is the front runner for Democrats, and I guess it would be J.D. Vance for the Republicans. I don't know. I don't see any upcoming leaders. I don't know. Everyone's just so stuck on Trump. So here we go. Let's give it another 4 years. I wanted to end this podcast episode on a lighter note and a more fun note. And shout out to Yvonne. This is Figgy's father. Figgy is a 4-year-old golden retriever. And Yvonne goes to the dog park that I go to. And we were talking the other day, and he brought up a very good point. And I don't think that I have spoken about this on my podcast. So let me bring it up, okay? So yes, I have a 4-year-old, a now 4-year-old, Kobe Bryant, golden doodle. And he was born during the pandemic. His birthday is 10/31/2020. Yvonne brought up the point of dogs that were born during COVID. They associate more with humans as opposed to other dogs. And we were like, I wonder why. And of course we know why. There were no dog parks open. People were working from home during that time. So it's like now that our dogs are 4 years old and we're going to these dog parks, like Kobe will only be bothered with you when he's just in that turn up mood. Figgy really just be chilling at the dog park. But they're COVID babies. Even though they're dogs, they're COVID babies. And this is why. So, ChatGPT also gave me some answers, like, of course, increased human interaction during the pandemic. We were all at home. All the businesses were closed. They had limited exposure to other dogs. Again, nobody was having a dog party like I just had last week at the park. We were social distancing. They were isolated from other dogs. They had a lot of home-based environments. The human-dog relationship was shaped by the unique nature of the pandemic itself. With people spending more time at home, there was likely an increase in attention, affection, and companionship toward pets. So this can reinforce the human-dog bond. So dogs born during this time might have become more accustomed to being around humans for emotional support, especially since many people faced increased stress, anxiety, and loneliness during the lockdowns. Aww. Behavioral reinforcement via COVID lockdown. Basically, this is saying that humans were being nicer to their dogs during the pandemic. And it's saying we weren't as hard on our dogs in like trying to train them. So that's kind of cool. But in summary, it says the primary factors contributing to dogs born during the COVID-19 pandemic forming stronger bonds with humans rather than other dogs likely stem from changes in socialization opportunities, human behaviors, and the increased presence of people at home during the early formative stage of the dog's life. These conditions led to a shift in how puppies interacted with their environment and what they came to view as their primary social connection, which is humans rather than dogs. So that is why if you have a dog that was born, I would say between March 2020 and probably like 2022, your dog more than likely loves humans a little bit more than other dogs. It just is what it is. They grew up a little bit more spoiled as opposed to other dogs. We were at home more and there was just nothing else to do but to love on your pets. So shout out to Yvonne for that. And shout out to Kobe. Again, he's 4 years old. Had a great birthday party for him last week at the dog park. I love him so much. And make sure you are subscribing to this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will talk to you all next time. Mwah.